What's up, everyone? We're going to be running some more Ultimate Golf content here. This is going to be Ultimate Division. We're going to be retouching up on this. And here you can see we are going to be playing for Ultimate Rewards again. And doing the best that we can with this new Wind Jitter feature. So keep in mind this is going to feature the Wind Jitter. Kind of upping the level of difficulty, making it a little bit more fair for everybody who plays. So here you can see the wind arrow is going to be shaky, and the lower we get that wind down, the easier it's going to make it. And typically on this hole, I used to use Bigfoot a lot on this one. Was my go-to. Biggest thing, I remember that's about 4 for max here. 4 or 5 for max. We will set ourselves up here. It's about what? 2.5 from the hole. 4 for max. Biggest thing we're trying to do is just get the depth down. Looks like I need to get, oh no, that's the correct bag. Not sure what was going on there. So let's jump this. Of course, if we want to increase the capability of making this, one of the things that we can do is utilize one of the wind pins. If we use good wind resistant balls, we use wind pins, we're going to give ourselves that much more of a chance to be able to get the drops. So you can see we get the wind all the way down to 2.1. I'm just going to go ahead and we will use the practice. And I believe I set it up. No, not yet. 4 for max. Let's do 4.5 for max. Just flip that over. And it is saying 2 exactly. So exactly 2 wind. 2 rings here. And again, with this jitter feature, your pull angle is going to be so critical. So be sure to be as careful as possible. And we're going to pull here. We'll just fine-tune tinker. Keep in mind, the biggest thing that we're trying to do is just figure out how much is the ball going to roll out. Give ourselves that best chance to make this. You can see that's a little bit too close. So at 870, we're going to just try to decrease the amount that we miss by. But you can see the ring adjustment spot on. And here you can see a 2.1 instead. And it's going to say 1.9. 1.9. And we only use backspin there. So we know it was only backspin. One of the things that you're going to see that I do is just intentionally, we're going to increase that distance. So now my starting point is going to be more like 2.7 rings from the pin. So instead of 2.5, we're backing up slightly. And then keep in mind, we're going to go just a little bit less rings than the last one. So we will go 1.9 this time. Be right in here. And again, like I mentioned, we're just trying to hone in, get that much closer to our adjustment. All this looks good, and it just bounced off the hole. So you can see we pick up an 890, but we were that close to just getting that to drop. We just needed to set up just another 1/10 of a ring on our starting point, and that was just going to drop straight in. So you're going to see that you're going to give yourself some really good opportunities, and I'm trying to capitalize on holes like this. So we're going to be looking at things like the first shot, the second shot, and we're going to be trying to do the best that we can to make micro changes and just give ourselves the best possible outcome. And again, like I mentioned, getting that wind down. So here you can see it's at 2.7. And we still got this on Bigfoot. I usually go lightning rod on this one. And on this pin, that's 15 rings for max. It's 18 rings for max, 17 rings for max. We'll keep, we'll go no spin and just put the target right on the edge there. And we're going to just use this for a reference. So this is saying, what was that? Somewhere right in here. Let's just give this a go, see what it looks like. 6 rings. And as you can see, we're just putting the alignment right on the edge there. So here you can see the shaky needle right on the edge, no spin. Now, why do we use the no spin? It's basically just to create a scenario where we're fine tuning and creating an easy replicatable shot. This is 6 rings. Let's just give that a go. Oh, one thing I forgot to do is I forgot to use a pin, but that's okay. Try to get that wind down is always a good thing. Looks like that is the adjustment. I mean, look how close that is. That's an 899. Oh, did I forget to hit the practice? I must have, so we went live there on accident. I was going to use a practice. Highly recommend, you know, if you're trying to, especially if you're trying to master jitter, to crank that up and get the practice, get the distance down, and give it your best all. Good opportunity on the par 3s to use a practice pin, so highly recommend that. Here you can see 890, 899. What is the secret to winning jitter tournaments? It's basically going to be just capitalizing on these scenarios. And here in this one, you're going to see wind straight in the face. We're just going to load up with the pins. Why would we load up with the pins? It just makes it that much easier to get the ball closer to the hole. And of course, this is the one that we definitely want to make. So we are going to stack up here. Wind straight in the face. Had it not got wind straight in the face, maybe I don't use the extra wind pin, but I'm just going to get this wind down. Try to get it as close in proximity to the hole as possible. Just going to make it that much more manageable for us. So here you're going to see that we're going to blast this down. And 2.2 on the wind. So we got a nice small wind here. What does the small wind do? It allows us to get very aggressive on this shot here. So small winds are the way to go. It looks like that might be a no adjust move. Very, very close to no adjust. I think we're going to go no adjust. I'll just put it on the left edge. And that's one of the values in playing the hole the way that we did. I'm just going to kind of play left center. When we play so aggressive, you can see, you know, we can go for a nice no wind adjust and just easily get that 999. Keep in mind, we could have all 3 of these so far. We could be 3 for 3. We were all over both of those other ones. So this is how you master jitter and give it the best attempt each and every time. So here you can see we're going to be going at this one with the Orion. That's 10 rings. This is 16 rings for max. So that's 17 rings for max. We're going to do the same thing, maybe full backspin, and then we'll just put the alignment right on the top. You can see I'm doing this kind of intentionally, putting it right on 5 rings from the pin. And then we'll just go into practice mode. And what was that? Did we say it was 15? 15 for max? Is that what it was? Forgot my count, but I believe that's what it was. You guys really just need that reference angle. So 5 1/4, and we'll just check 5 1/4, and we'll just tweak it on the next shot in the event that we're a little bit off. What I like to do is I like to just kind of try to split the jitter in half here, and we'll go the 5 1/4. I'm going to fine tune this 5 1/4 too much. Just kind of eyeball it a little bit, 5 1/4. Keep it just a little bit on the short edge. Getting pretty close to that tree, so with those winds, definitely be just a little bit mindful of that. There you can see it's even rocketing back. So we're going to have to make a slight tweak on the way that we go about this. And another thing that you could do is you could utilize another practice attempt if you wanted to do so. But for this one, we're going to change to 2.8. It's saying 5. I might just go 5 straight up. As you can see, as a result, it came up just a hair bit short. And we're going to try to be just a little bit more aggressive. And that's what you can see that I'm doing here. We don't want this rocking back either. So we're going to set it up 4.5. And we're just going to go 5 straight up. As you can see, it was a little bit over pull on my last one. So we'll just do it like this. Like I mentioned, you know, I try my best typically to just kind of split that difference. The best that I can, get that error tolerance for the jitter down as much as possible. And we're just going to go, since the last one was just slight over pull, we'll just go 5 straight up in this situation. And much better, but just off the edge. So another 890 something. You can see it's that close to being able to get it. I mean, it's not really even necessarily my pull angle. It's just 1 or 2 more clicks. So maybe 5.02 rings instead of, you know, and maybe I was just a little bit casual. But another great opportunity to make another shot. So as you guys can see, we're giving a lot of these a good opportunity. And these, one of the things that you'll see sometimes that I do is I might utilize a ball pin. You can see it just lets me extend my lightning rod. So maybe we go no adjust lightning rod with the extension. And we're going to, of course, use the practice again. We might not need to use the wind pin in this scenario. But if we want to reduce the amount of jitter, and you can just see what the ball guide looks like. See where I'm putting that, you know, no spin to try to make it so I can be very replicatable. And I'm just analyzing my guide. And we're just going to use pretty much the max ring adjustment in this scenario. So maybe we'll just call this 5 for max. And all we are doing is just getting that reference for when we actually go to play the shot. This is saying 7.8 rings. We're going to hit the practice. 7.8 is going to shift up a little bit. 7.8 goes to 8.1 almost. So just a hair more on the adjustment. And hopefully this is primed up for us to get our first drop. So let's see if we can make one good adjust here. So again, like I mentioned, just a hair more of 8 rings. We're just going to analyze how many rings we went. Oh, wow. It was perfect. It was absolutely flushed. So that is what we're going to do. And then you'll see when we go stop the practice, we're just going to make one small tweak. And we can go back and we can do that as you guys saw from the last one. It was 7.8 rings, should be spot on. And as you guys saw, we're just going to, this time, be just a little bit more aggressive with the ball guide, just like a click or two. You'll see I put that ball guide just a little bit more towards the hole, keep it in the center of the hole. And then we're just going to go 7.8 rings in this situation. We're going to try to keep this as aggressive as possible. 7.8, you know, maybe we should have used a wind pin in this situation. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. It's right at the north end. We got to be careful here with this pull angle. Maybe just half a bar. So we can just kind of roll it out a little bit farther this way. So we'll try to take that same line that we did on the last shot, but with this one. And that hopefully keeps the ball from stopping on the front lip. So 7.8 rings, you're going to see is right around there. So let's give it a go, see what happens, see if we can get this first drop. But as you guys can see, all over it, every single hole. This is the nice secret, and there it is. So just like that, we get the hole in one. That's you know, good opportunity to get 3, 4, 5 of these. We're going to still be able to get very aggressive with our scoring, just based on the fact that we are getting the wind down small on all of these shots. And that is a nice strategy. We're going to try to do the same thing here. You know, maybe I use a ball pin, get that wind down, and we're going to play distance here. We're going to shoot for that nice distance, which is a full lightning rod, which is like one full screen for me. That's exactly what you can see I'm doing. We're just going to set ourselves up for this lightning rod shot. Highly recommend you guys do this from time to time. You just set yourself up for a distance that you know you can get very, very aggressive with. And there is max club right there. We are well within max club parameters. There's 10 rings. There's 20 rings. Let's call this 23. 24 for max, maybe. 24 from max. 513 rings. One thing that I typically do is we will get as aggressive as we can here. 513 rings. We got the wind down as small as possible. Just makes it that much more likely we can get the drop here. And if you want to really precision adjust this, it's going to increase the likelihood that you can make it that much more. So definitely take advantage of stuff like that. But as you can see, just a little bit long. It's our first dip into the 880s. We've been all over this entire course setup. So do not fret just because it is wind jitter. The wind jitter, what it's going to do is it's going to take those top player scores and they're not going to shoot as strong as they would have, which opens the door for you guys to be able to beat them. So that's the main thing that you want to focus on. And here you can see with a nice tailwind, maybe we try to get a little aggressive on this one. I'm not convinced that I can for sure get this up here, but you know, maybe it's worth considering. I've never played this hole specifically like this. But the best thing that you could take away from this is you could just say, you know, you could use my shot as your frame of reference on whether or not to try to play this aggressive or not. My gut is telling me not to do this, honestly. I think it's a waste, but we're going to do it anyway. It's going to make it that much easier for you guys to know one way or the other. Is this a good way to play it? Is it not? So we're going to go about the 15 rings. And then push straight up towards the max club there. We're just going to blast this. Give this a nice home run swing. Oh, one thing I did forget is we use a driver wood pin, so I know I was light on that adjustment because I didn't factor that in. So if you guys are going to go for the home run, make sure you're over adjusting. So more down here in the 19 ring-ish, it's going to give you that much more of a better angle. But let's see what we can do here. I think it's going to be playing just a little bit. If we could have been just a wee bit more aggressive on the drive, would have been that much more likely. What is this? 30. 35%, maybe a little bit more, 40. So 40 is definitely going to play, without a doubt. So not as easy as we want, but if I would have drove this just a little bit cleaner, maybe we would have been in business. Let's just take a look, see what it's saying. 13 rings, man, that is a tough adjustment. Yeah, this is a bit more aggressive than I would like to see. What we're going to do is you're going to see that I'm going to just tilt this over here. And what this will typically do is it'll increase my margin for error. So now when I go to pull this, you'll see that the guide stays just a little bit more in line with the hole. Let's give this a whirl, see if this is ballpark. You can see the wind's definitely taking it. There's that reduction of error that I was talking about, but we still missed the shot. Just not easy to make that big of adjustment. And if anything, I was just maybe just a little bit light at the 40%. And like I said, you know, maybe just a little bit better drive towards the hole gives ourselves that much better of a chance there. But let's see what we can do on 16. Maybe we get another tailwind. We did. And I can guarantee you that this one's going to be definitely a situation worth going for. No question about this one. This is a green light scenario. We are going to, like we just did on that last one, we are going to do the overpull that I was just talking about. We go more in the 20 ring range this time. Bit of an overplay. Just pull up here to max. And we're just going to let this fly. With one pin here. I think there's a chance that this is going to get to the green with just the one pin. That's why you can see that I'm only going for that pin. In fact, it's too much. So that is a good reference for you guys. You can see you don't even have to do that much to get to this green. So if you get a tailwind, green light special. Highly recommend going for it. Get that tiebreaker as high as possible. And hopefully you guys are able to convert this putt. And there you can see, oh man, I feel like I got robbed on that one. Like as I lifted my finger, I feel like it kind of pulled to the right. But you should be able to dial it in and get a little bit closer. Consider, you know, especially if we spend our time with that, we would have probably definitely made that. That puts us up to 11 under. This one is going to put us just up to 13. 13 is going to be relatively competitive. You're probably not going to win the division at 13. But look how many opportunities I had for this. So just the whole fact of having all those opportunities, that's what it's going to be all about. And this may be a good green light situation where you might want to blast it down there. We're going to take this Centaur, maybe we do driver pin. Good situation for a driver pin since I got wind straight in the face. Get a couple more yards down the fairway. So with the driver pin, it's not going to change my rings for my wood, making it that a little bit more easy for the approach. Of course, this hole is always a bear. I typically do overplay on this one. I'm thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of 15%. It's telling me 3 rings for a 3-0. That is too much topspin. Not the easiest thing to gauge how much topspin versus how much to take off. But like I mentioned, you know, we're going to do this overplay. Go a little bit extra on our ring pull. So maybe in the 3-4 range. And let's see, let's let this fly and see what happens. Hopefully we got our depth control down. Looks like it's coming in pretty good, but it is coming up just a wee bit short. It's a nice line there, just not climbing over that hill. 1419, you want to try to do a little bit better than that. This is also another good hole to potentially utilize the practice pin for. You should be able to convert these putts. Just be careful with your release and try to do your best to get a little bit better than 1419, honestly. I was being a little bit tentative. Haven't played this hole in probably a couple months. That's a -12. Keep in mind, as soon as these bots start to clear out, you're going to see a much easier path as soon as these bots clear out for you. 12, 13, 14. This is going to be a competitive score for this situation in Ultimate Division. These tournaments are set up for guys who take advantage of win pins, take advantage of win reduction balls. You're going to give yourself the best chance to make the hole outs, and you're going to see top names struggling to score, and you're going to see names falling down the leaderboard. It's your time to pounce and win these events. So hopefully you guys are able to capitalize on that. Best of luck out there on this tournament, and hopefully you guys do well. Best of luck out there, and take care.